Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Welcome to Show Lovers Update, where we dive into the juiciest scandals and most shocking twists in politics. I'm your host, Emma, and today we're talking about the infamous George Santos. George Santos, the disgraced former congressman from New York's 3rd Congressional District, has been sentenced to serve 87 months in federal prison for wire fraud and identity theft charges. That's right, folks, over 7 years behind bars for a politician who thought he was above the law. But before we get into the juicy details, let's take a step back and understand how Santos rose to power. He won his election in 2022 and took office just months later, despite numerous red flags and questions about his credentials. And when it all came crashing down, he was expelled from Congress with a resounding 311-114 vote. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, what led to this downfall? Well, Santos' history of deceit goes back years. He's been accused of stealing money meant for a disabled Iraq War veteran's dying service dog, as well as orchestrating a credit card fraud scheme and lying about his credentials. But it wasn't until he pleaded guilty to aggravated identity theft and wire fraud that the full extent of his crimes became clear. And now, he's facing a bill of over $370K in restitution, not to mention a hefty prison sentence and the loss of certain assets worth $580,000. So what really went down with Santos' campaign donor credit card? According to TMZ, he used it in September and October 2022 to pay for personal expenses. And when confronted about it, he initially described his indictment as a witch hunt before finally acknowledging his mistakes and accepting a plea deal last summer. But the drama doesn't end there. Santos recently appeared on One America News Network's The Matt Gaetz Show just one night before his sentencing hearing, where he expressed concerns about serving time in a federal prison, claiming his safety was at risk due to his stance against gangs during his short tenure in Congress. And get this, he even asked for solitary confinement as a way to protect himself. But will that be granted? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Santos' sentencing has left many ecstatic on social media, with some celebrating his 87-month sentence and others mocking him for his actions. As Show Lovers Update always says, you can't make this stuff up. George Santos thought he could get away with it all, but in the end, justice caught up with him. And that's a lesson we can all learn from. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on Show Lovers Update. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the latest scandals and news. See you next time.